Kelly Bergh Dove was born on the 30th of August 1961 to parents Fred and Rachel Bergh. At 15 years old, Kelly got pregnant and later married Dale Dove. The couple resided in Bridgewater, Virginia. Their daughter Tammy was born in December of 1977. Life appeared to be going well for Kelly. Her loved ones stated she was happy with her marriage and she loved being a mother. By the age of 20, Kelly was planning to attend community college in order to give her daughter a better future. Those who knew Kelly would describe her as a fun and happy young woman, but someone who would speak her mind and who could be scrappy when she needed to be. To make some extra money, Kelly took a job at the Imperial gas station located on South Main Street, Route 11 in Harrisonburg, Virginia. The station was located on an isolated section of road, a mile south of the James Madison University. Dove's three sisters also all worked at the Imperial station. On the night of June the 18th, 1982, Kelly wasn't scheduled to work the night shift. However, she had traded shifts with one of her sisters that night. The gas station was busy that Thursday evening, but she made time to call and chat with her mother. This, however, wouldn't be the last call she made that night. It would be shortly after midnight on June the 18th when Dove made her first phone call to the Harrisonburg Police Department to report a man driving a silver Ford that had been harassing her. She explained she was working alone and asked the police department if they could keep an eye on her. Unfortunately, at this time, harassment and obscene calls and gestures were very common when women were working at the gas station alone at night. However, tonight was different, and it wouldn't be long before Kelly phoned the police department for a second time.
I'm working the third shift at the Imperial gas station. I just had an obscene phone call, and this guy came in earlier, and he was kind of dressed improperly, but I kind of ignored him. I think it was that guy, because he just drove through the parking lot a few seconds before I got the call. You have somebody kind of keep an eye out on me?
Okay, this is on
Main Street.
South Main?
Over beside McDonald's. Thank you. Bye.
Clearly uncomfortable with the situation and scared she was in immediate danger, at 2:30 a.m, Dove called authorities for a third time. Sounding frightened, she said the man was back and he had used a payphone outside the gas station to call her and make obscene comments. She said he was driving a silver or grey vehicle, possibly a Ford, and asked the police to please hurry and send someone to help her. There was a shuffling noise, then the line went dead. Authorities stated they arrived at the gas station only 2 minutes after the conversation terminated, but the station was now empty. Dove's purse and a magazine she'd been reading were left undisturbed on the counter, and a cigarette had burned out in the ashtray. There were no indications that the store had been robbed, and no signs of a struggle, and no clues as to Dove's whereabouts. While canvassing the area, investigators learned from talking to someone working at a nearby convenience store that a man driving a grey car stopped at his store about half an hour before Dove disappeared. The witness described the man as 20 to 25 years old, with shoulder-length blonde hair. It hasn't been proven if the sighting was in any way related to Dove's disappearance. Investigators estimated it would have taken as little as 15 seconds to abduct Dove, force her into a vehicle and drive away. Her family thinks whoever took her must have been armed, as she was definitely the sort of person who would have fought back given the chance. Doubts have been raised about how police initially handled the scene, with claims they never actually closed the store following Dove's disappearance and never took fingerprints. Doubts have also been raised about whether they actually arrived at the scene within 2 minutes like they claimed they did. And remember, this was Kelly's third call to law enforcement that night. The obscene calls that had been coming into the station stopped almost entirely after Dove's disappearance. In fact, in the 6 weeks following her apparent abduction, the station got only one such call. Dove's parents have their own theories as to what happened that night, and believe the man she went to high school with was responsible for her disappearance. This individual has never been named, but had a record for indecent exposure and making obscene telephone calls. He has never been charged in connection with her disappearance. However, investigators did not seem to agree, claiming it was more likely a crime of opportunity committed after someone noticed there was a woman working at the isolated gas station alone. One potential name that has been mentioned is Glenn Barker. Barker was convicted of murdering 12-year-old Katie Worski in 1982. She disappeared from the home of a friend where she was spending the night during the summer of 1982. Barker was the last adult to see her alive, and a pair of Worski's underpants were found by police in one of Barker's drawers. Barker served 9 years of an 18-year sentence for the crime. Worski's body has never been recovered. News reports claimed that Barker, who sometimes drove a Ford, had been seen painting his car in the days after Kelly disappeared. However, Barker maintains that police ruled him out as a suspect in Dove's disappearance because he'd been at a family reunion where several relatives verified his presence. One of Kelly Dove's friends travelled to Charlottesville every day of Barker's 1983 trial just to make sure it wasn't him. In 2020, nearly 40 years later, the case has been reopened with detectives going through old reports and evidence to find new leads. Old evidence has been retested, and the Harrisonburg Police Department have been working with Virginia State Police cold case analysts. With a fresh set of eyes and using modern methods to investigate the case, police have been able to narrow down the suspect list. The detective leading the investigation knows it's a race against time now to get justice. This happened 40 years ago, and the people who they need to talk to are not always still around, and evidence that needs to be resubmitted needs to be done so before it becomes too degraded. Dove was declared legally dead in 1989, and the gas station has since been torn down. As of February 2023, her case remains unsolved.